Hello, friends. My name is Steve, and we're here today to discuss Berserk Volume 18, when things get spicy. And Joe's holding up his OG versions because he's rubbing it in our faces. But Joe, you kick us off with an introduction.
Oh, I'm Joe, J.C. Byrne. I wrote the Hybrid Helix, and you can find me at jcandbyrne.com. Oh, Dan came. Yay!
There's Dan. Yay.
Hey,
And Varsha.
Barely.
did you already started, right?
Like 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, you missed my introduction, Dan. It was amazing.
Okay.
It changed my life.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
I'll never be the same.
For good or for bad.
Time will tell.
Okay.
We'll have to wait and see. And Varsha.
Hi, my name is Varsha. I run a tiny YouTube channel called Reading by the Rainy Mountain. And yeah, I'm looking forward to today's discussion.
And Dan.
Hi, I'm Dan, and I'm just slightly late. And yeah, that's it. Nothing to know about me. Just a reader
I'm
of
Dan,
comic books.
slightly late.
That's
my title.
Slightly
late.
So, Dan and Joe, why didn't you warn us about Volume 18? Why don't you give us a little bit of a heads up?
For which
the
part?
Party.
Okay.
Party. That's what's the word I'm looking for? Now, there's a figure of speech that makes things sound better than they are. What is that one called? Yes, that. A euphemism, if ever I heard one.
Yeah. So you mean like the 2 chapters of porn?
Yeah, that.
Satanic porn, yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, so, Varsha being the fellow new reader, what did you think about Volume 18? What sticks out to you?
It was interesting. I think I'm enjoying this arc a bit more than Golden Age. There's a lot of different threads that I'm eager to see how they will connect. And I'm extremely worried for Casca because she's blindly walking where she shouldn't be. And we're seeing the baby protect her, I guess, the demon fetus. There's a lot of things that I thought were very interesting. And there's a Guts wannabe kid who's following him as if Puck wasn't enough, so that's cool too. So I like all the. There was one other new character introduced, I thought, who I thought will last longer. But anyway, I'm enjoying this quite a bit, this arc.
The kid, I'm not. That's about the only thing I'm not crazy about in this volume so far. In this arc is maybe it'll work itself out later, but it just seems like I hope he doesn't become like a mentor for him. I really hope not, but we'll have to wait and see.
Does Guts have a bigger sword? Is that bigger or just shinier?
I think it just he just fixed it, I think.
Okay.
Right?
But all the notches are fixed, so it's kind of bigger.
I guess. I mean, how do you fix a sword? Like, how do you get the notches out of a sword? I'm not sure. Do you just reheat it and rehit it to smooth it out? Is that how
I
you
feel
do
like I
it?
should know this.
I assume you can't add more material to it, I assume.
I think at that point you'd have to
Seems
melt
like
it
that
down
would
and
not
start
work.
again.
Yeah.
But sword polishing is like a specific art. Like there would be expert sword polishers in Japan, and they'd be renowned just like swordsmiths were. And you would take your sword to be polished and have them like rub out the... Because metal's malleable. I think if you work it well enough, you can undo some of the notches and things. And taking your sword to a real polisher was like, it was a thing to do. That's a subject matter of many, samurai stories.
Interesting.
I like how serious you got when you said samurai stories. No, that's interesting. There was something that I was curious about, and I probably missed this, but in the beginning of the volume, when the kid is fighting those that army and Guts comes and saves him, there's the character who recognizes Guts, and from a long time ago, and mentions there is but one thing we must do now. And who was that character? I know I'm probably forgetting who that was, but do we know?
Is it the dude with the long whip
Yeah.
whip blade thing?
Remember
Oh, yeah.
when Guts was like off on his own for like a year, and he went and he was like fighting and like entering like sword contests and stuff, and he had left the Band of the Hawk and he was like finding his own way and he was just fighting everyone he could find. He entered a contest. That was the guy he fought in like the final round of that contest, and he won, but like just barely. And it wasn't like a personal thing, but it's definitely you're actually pretty good. Yeah, so are you kind of, thing that happens in these stories.
Yeah.
And this
Like
is
a
the
mutual
same guy.
respect.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
Yeah.
So, and you like the bald dudes with the massive knuckles, huge
The bald
calluses on
dudes
their
with the
knuckles, and the guys who are actually making tapas,
Yeah, but 4 guys.
waiting for like the small plates to come out and like all the food.
That was very strange for me to read because there was a bunch of extremely mean-looking Hindu priest-type dudes with, it's like they're just like very severely muscular priests who look like they want to kill someone.
Well, the knuckles are straight out of Okinawan karate. I don't know any other discipline, even of martial arts, that has that level of deformation of the hands, which I've seen on people. Even I get it a little bit when I train well enough. Where the first 2 knuckles in your hand get like thicker and all gnarly. And I've seen people like my old instructor. Like if you look at his hand like this way, this part, like the first 2 knuckles where you punch, is like twice as thick as like the back 2, because the muscles, the bones to change. You get calluses, but also the bones thicken and because you keep hitting things. That's what these guys have. I'm like, let's kind of mix in some cultures there, but whatever. Just throw in some Hindu stuff, throw in some Arab stuff, throw in some stuff from Okinawa, whatever.
Yeah.
It's fantasy. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think there's not too much from the beginning chapters. It's just like the fight, right? And then we're just shown that they're arriving, this invading force, right? It's just on the horizon, sort of looming in the background.
And these guys look like
I guess.
people, like the assassins that the king sent after the Band of the Hawk too. So they seem like that sounds right.
Bakiraka, I think. Yeah.
They look like who? Sorry, from the Band of the
Remember
Hawk?
when the king of Midland got real? So he decided, like after Griffith went after his daughter, he sent like this band of like I think 3 or 5 assassins after them to catch the Band of the Hawk in the sewers, and they had like semi-mystical powers, jumping out of the water and stuff. These guys are they look Kushian, I guess. Like they were dressed similarly, they had the same color skin, they had the same aesthetic. So we've seen hints of this group before. This nation, this culture has been, sprinkled in. I thought they were cool. I'm like, I want a spin-off series.
Yeah, unless the last volume we saw like the army sort of marching, right? I think it was the end of the last volume,
And the priest or I forget his name, the religious leader, I think it got into some cult aspects. It pulls people in, like the outcasts in the world, and it pulls them in, and it kind of brings them into this this organization that way they cover up and they lose their identity, and they see them as a savior, and they find a way to manipulate them, and they make them all the same. It's like classic cult behavior, and they go out and they do things that they admit are wrong. They don't like doing it, but I do it because he saved me. I hate what we do, but he brought me in when I was, so it was, and the woman who brings her baby to be saved because it was dying, he sends her to the torture chamber, which was another, yeah, exactly.
Pretty fucked up. That whole part, it was.
Yeah.
Not.
Was that taken from real history? Like, is that how Inquisition was done? I know, like, on an individual basis, sometimes for extreme heretics, they might have been subjected to this, but was this? Yeah.
Not really. It's mostly this sort of thing. It's mostly sort of like this idea of like, the Spanish Inquisition torturing everyone and heresy and stuff like that. It's mostly like reactionary history written by Protestant historians later on in like Victorian era or earlier than that, to portray those places and that religion in a bad way. It was actually quite not civil, but it was, if you were investigated by the Inquisition, they usually sent you a letter to let you know and stuff like that. It was, and there weren't that many cases of burning people in the end. It was actually fairly, how do I say, bureaucratic sort of thing, So I'm sure this sort of stuff happened, but it was not like a large scale sort of thing. But here it very much looks like a, very institutionalized torture. Like, we're gonna torture everyone that we find, pretty much.
The commandments that dude keeps rattling off as the one against torture. That's apparently not a thing. The skeleton person tells us later on that there's an apostle where they are. Do you think it's the head of the church or this Inquisitor, or just that there is a presence there? Is that what he means, do you think?
What do you think?
I think so. There are these eyes that we keep seeing on every other page that look an awful lot like the Inquisitor dude's eyes. So I have a feeling that he's a demon of some sort, maybe an apostle, but...
Maybe. What do you think,
I didn't
Steve?
think of that until now. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
We kept seeing these, especially at the place where the party was happening. We saw the eyes again.
Let's see. Do you remember which part exactly? I'm trying to remember too.
Let me see if I can find the page number.
I mean, the Inquisitor guy does look a bit sus. He's a bit
but the whole,
weird.
I can't feel my legs anymore, and I can't
face
even
is,
run because of the damage I've done, prostrating myself before God, and my face is deformed by the impacts. That doesn't sound like an apostle.
Yeah.
Like that kind of self-sacrifice, that kind of permanent damage, that's exactly what the apostles don't get, I think. I assumed it was this goat-headed dude at the party. Because he definitely has inhuman proportions, and at one point his penis is a snake, and someone's like, "Wait, this is not an illusion." So I thought, well, if his penis is a snake, that's not normal.
That's
Wait, what? It's not normal?
Quick, schedule an appointment with your personal physician, right?
I know now.
Yeah.
So on page 139, the pair of eyes there. Does that? I don't know.
Those are hawk's eyes, aren't
they? Yeah.
Oh,
Wait, 139. Which page is it? Can someone with a book share it for context? Because I'm looking at a pair of eyes, but I don't know.
I think it's the same because Because they do
That
pop
don't have
up a few
page number.
times, and I was wondering, it looked like it was the same eyes that were looking.
When there's the guy lying dead in the river? Is that the ones you're thinking about?
I don't remember that one, but this is at the top of the page. It's in the orgy chapter. Mm,
Oh, those ones. Yeah. Look more like frog eyes to
Frog.
me or something. No, not frog, but
At first, I thought they might be the demon fetus eyes, but then,
Talking about those?
yeah,
I think those are his eyes, like the boy.
the boy. Oh,
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I don't know, because his eyes are a bit. How do you see? Like the curve of these ones is on the top instead of the guy's eyes. The curve is at the bottom. They have different shape, I think, but I might be wrong. Maybe it's just because he's super high, and that kind of looks like the eyes of someone which is a bit high. So it could just be that, yeah.
I don't know.
oh, yeah. The Inquisitor's eyes are hexagonal, so maybe not.
But the goat dude certainly seems to have inhuman proportions. Like he's just too tall. And the goat head could be a mask, right? But like, his body and his arms are way longer than human. But if he is real and actually is physically that inhuman, what's her name does not react to it. The prostitute, right? She doesn't look at that and go, "Oh my God, it's an actual living demon." So maybe that's not an accurate representation of what he looks like.
Huh.
I can't tell. I feel like we'll find out.
But he looks similar to, if we think back to the first chapter, like the first volume, the guy that the count's wife had like the orgy with the satanic something like that. And there was like that figure in the center. I think it was the same.
This guy's got the best life, right? Like, we want you to corrupt humanity by starting a huge orgy. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it. I'll sacrifice myself.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of was with them until they started, eating someone.
Wait, that happened.
He's perfect.
Maybe that's.
He's so picky.
Yeah. I mean, that's why the guy started running away, right? Because he saw the stew is like body
eyeballs
parts
and
Oh, I thought her tongue turned into a finger or something.
Yeah, then there's like even babies in the stew.
Babies in the stew?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
baby stew.
That sounds like a punk band.
Not.
See, nice. I thought that looked like an ear, but then the rest of the pieces looked like rocks on a river, so I couldn't figure out what that was.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That was a bit.
It's a rough first date.
How do I say? Yeah.
So next time anyone asks you, would you go to hell with me, and you think twice before answering that, because they might be serious.
That's why my wife says, "Can you do me a favor?" I'm always say, "What is it?"
Yeah.
That depends. Never just say yeah, ever. Never just say yes.
Yeah. What do you guys think of the blonde prostitute character? Because we've had quite a lot of parts with her in this volume.
I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, Rush.
I was just gonna clarify. Did you mean Luca or the one with the curls?
Luca, I think, has red hair. I think. And the other one, what's her name?
The
curly one. Yeah. Well, I guess both. What are your thoughts on both of them? I guess.
I kind of like Luca. They were interesting. Both of them. Yeah. I was nervous because she seems to have a communicable disease and she's freely spreading the disease apparently. But other than that, they were interesting characters.
The
I
boss
really
felt too
like
much-
their little
sorry.
community. No, go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The boss felt a lot like well, I'm going to show you that this priest, a person in a respected position that people would think of as moral, is actually a depraved, base, disgusting human being. And look, this prostitute, the bottom of the social totem pole everyone thinks of as depraved, base human being, is actually quite noble and wise and caring. And I'm like, okay, you hit me with your point. I get it. I get it. I guess this isn't,
Want a bigger hammer.
this isn't about subtlety, this series, so I shouldn't be shocked. But
No.
that seemed to be
Yeah.
her purpose, right? You're finding nobility in the lowest social strata.
Yeah.
I think this.
Yeah. I guess it's nice to get someone which is not an asshole for
Yeah.
once in a while.
Yeah.
You know.
And I'm all about asshole. You know, that's not really bad. I'm all about bad characters. That really came out really bad. Oh my. So anyway, I'm all about asshole characters. You didn't let me finish. Okay, so anyway, I'm all about dark and asshole characters. I'm gonna be quiet now, but you get my point.
Mhm.
So, but I did enjoy having a having a break, having a break from Guts and his of the characters we have been following. They seem to be like off to the side, and a little bit more a different perspective of someone who's not involved in the larger story that's being told.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they
True.
try to join the parties, the orgy, so they end up in the larger story, but you know.
Yeah, I guess the other thing maybe about what you were saying, Joe, before, a comparison between the prostitute, which is good, and the Ozengus, right, the Inquisitor, which is bad. I guess she's also there to contrast with the blonde prostitute, because she's like strong and she's weak. Which I guess are the two main comparisons we usually see: strong versus weak, and like good versus bad. I think you're right. Yeah, because that's the other thing we saw. Like she was willing to do sacrifices for her friends and other people, right? And try to do the right thing. While the other prostitute was more like, what can I do? I'm kind of fucked. I'll try to do whatever, I guess, to survive. Yeah. But I don't know if. And then there was like the reunion scene sort of thing when they met after like Lucasoa was happening. And then what did she do? She slapped her or something?
Slapped her, spanked her.
Which is quite
And
mild.
she
as a
spanked her.
punishment.
She spanked her.
Oh yeah, that's what happened. Yeah.
Oh, somebody. Oh, yeah, she threw a rock at her.
Yeah, which again, it's quite mild considering she probably ate some dude, I guess, at the orgy, and I mean she's probably going to be going there for a while, I would assume, and then she also pushed her, I'm not going to say lover, but the other guy she brought there to his death, pretty much. So
She killed
not
the guy.
light.
She killed the guy.
Misdemeanor.
And she got spanked. I'm like, okay.
And Luca saw that she called for his killing, right? She saw that. Yeah.
I think so.
So did Luca not know about this area and these orgies going on? Did she not know about it? It seems a little bit like you would figure she would know what's going on there, right? It wouldn't be a surprise. Like, it's just something you stay away from, or are they like a traveling band that travels around?
It seemed to.
Doesn't seem she knew, right? I mean, I assume they were trying to keep it a secret, given the Inquisitor thing going on. Probably. That's why she asked when the other prostitute asked the guys, like, "Are you going to keep a secret? Are you willing to, risk everything?" Because if they get found out, they're going to get killed, all of them, pretty much. And I mean, I think that's what the Inquisitor is also looking for, right? Because I think they mentioned saying there was like some cult or something going on. and they saw like there was a flayed skin of a priest, which I assume again it was by this group. Maybe that's what it's set up.
Oh, that's right. They were having a conversation about how no matter how many heretics they kill, the priest deaths aren't reducing. So is that what's going into the pot?
Maybe. I don't know. Could be though. Yeah. So what did you think about the orgy chapters? I guess they're quite intense. Was it too much, or was it fine?
I feel like we've seen worse before in the series, so this felt average, I guess.
No, but I mean, was it like? Did it need to be there like that? Like there was quite a lot of panels dedicated to it.
Was it excessive? I would say yes. Yeah. I think it's like, okay, we get it. Like, there's a few like pages and pages of. I mean, but at the same time, it's. Does it lose its impact if there's too much of it? I guess is the thing. Does it lose that, or does it stick with you more if there's more of it? But do you become desensitized to it if it goes on for too long? Does that make it less impactful as a reader? I guess.
I guess the good thing was that like the art style sort of changes. There's like since he is under the influence, there's a bunch of different effects going on, so there is some variety, right? That does help it.
So I wonder what the point might have been to express it in so much detail. Is it like, I guess the guy's changing mental state, the person that Nina brought with her? I don't think he's okay with it at any point. I don't think he's like happy about it at any point, but we do see the changing state of mind until he arrives at fear. I don't know if you could do that in fewer panels, maybe. And I suppose it probably would have been as impactful with fewer panels. I don't know.
Here's the thing: if you have these horror scenes in like movies, very gory and very detailed, and like people get that that's the thing, right? You're getting this gory. What I think makes this more uncomfortable is this sense that it's a little lascivious, that he's sort of seeing it as this horror scene, but drawing all the boobs in this much detail makes it seem like you're trying to make it a little pornographic. You're trying to turn on your audience with these scenes that are embedded in horrific violence, and that is additionally uncomfortable. I found the orgy almost more bothersome than the torture scenes. Torture scenes are just torture. People are being tortured. No one's getting off on that. But the orgy scene is people being tortured and people are getting off on it at the same time. And that's creepier.
Yeah.
Right? And it's weirder. And it's almost like, is this meant to be a little bit of fan service? Because if it is, that's really makes me feel awkward. It's like if you're aroused by these scenes, that's kind of messed up because these people are clearly not consenting and they're clearly... Well, I guess some of them are consenting.
Under the influence, or
it's a little grosser.
Sorry, yeah.
You know, whereas again, the torture scenes are objectively more disgusting, but it's torture portrayed as torture. Like, all right, I get that. You know, I don't know.
Looking back over the pages now, just as we were talking, I think it does feel like almost like a. I think Rashi mentioned it's like a drug trip, like you're like a hallucination, because there are images of his hand falling into her breast, and there's some other things that are happening. So it does, you do get that disorientation. But I guess the larger question would be: is it a cultural thing that we have such a reaction to this, and we don't have such a reaction to bodies being flayed open and people being tortured or babies in stew? I mean, is that a something that is universal, or is that because of our culture, and not that it's right or wrong, just curious.
I mean, Japan has a history of like properties and like storylines that would not fly in the West. There was a popular show, I don't know if it was a cartoon or live action, it was called Rape Man, and the hero was a man who would go around raping women and who were frigid, and by raping them would like unlock their sexual inhibitions. And he was unironically the hero. Okay? And I'm like,
wow.
Okay, and it wasn't like on like at 6 p.m. It was like at night or something, right? It wasn't prime time, but it wasn't underground either, right? So I'm like, okay, so you know, historically there's a different sensibility, and I'm not saying that the Japanese people believe that that's realistic as much as they're willing to accept it in their entertainment in a way that I don't think that would have flown. And this is not new. This is, I think, from the 80s, maybe 90s. But there was no outcry. I think if you tried putting that on like the Cartoon Network here, I don't think that'd be okay. You know?
No.
Even
No.
Adult Swim, right? Like,
No.
I don't think people would be okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a lot of issues with depictions of consent and stuff like that in both, I guess, manga and also just in general in Japanese pornography. It's very much like, the woman is not always seen as, I mean, sort of consented, but not really. Like, she doesn't want to really. It's a bit, I wonder if maybe it feels worse to read. It feels a bit different to read, like, violence compared to this. It's because you're more, how do I say it? Like, it makes you more participating in what's happening, sort of. Because, like Joe said, like, if the torture is like, okay, it's torture, it's bad, I don't approve this, you're thinking in your mind. But when you get those other scenes, you're like, because they're made to make you excited, just like when you, I don't know, like you said, like rape fantasies or bad fantasy pornography, right? Like, you feel bad about it, but it also makes you excited, right? Because it's sort of a mixture of that guilt and the excitement and stuff like that. And you're like, in this case, it's exactly like that. Like, you're sort of participating because it's for you, right? So it makes you.
Maybe that's the point, right?
Maybe that's
Naros
why.
wants to say, look, there's a little darkness in you too, dear reader. You're looking at the scene of horrific stuff, but you're a little titillated by it. How do you like that? You think my story about like true evil flying the unconscious of humans is total bogus and fantasy? Like, well, let me show you you're wrong. Or not.
Yeah. Because I guess we also get the explanation of the, what was her name? The captain of the guard of the Knights of the Chain, right? What her also, it's sort of similar too, right? Because she gets excited by like violence and people burning and stuff like that, and she's also extremely conflicted.
She has a smirk. I don't know.
Right?
She looks a little pleased.
She's more than a little pleased in that final scene.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah. But she also says like, "Oh, I am not wrong." So like, she knows she is wrong, right?
Well, she's crying.
Like, she knows,
curled
but
up in a post-coital sadness.
It's kind of like in a more mild way, right? When you eat something you're not supposed to eat, right? You kind of feel a bit bad about it, but you still do it. This is worse, but it's the same sort of idea, right? You're like, oh, I won't think about it.
She's fucked up.
You justify it to yourself.
Yeah,
she's literally thinking about people burning, and I'm like, okay, all right. I have no memory of what happens to her later.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to read ahead.
Did she throw flames because she saw demons and she got rid of them when she threw the flames? Like, it had nothing to do with the actual what burning of the people, she saw some images that she was trying to get rid of, I thought.
I think it was like the shadows or like the fire, the way that the fire was burning, that it was like the shadows it was creating, and she saw that as a child as like as demons or something evil, but it was just the fire. I think it was like this obsession with fire, and I think she does. I thought it was because when we first viewed her, we viewed her as, well, for me anyway, like someone who was out of her element, but maybe she's not. Like maybe she's just as bad as the other one. That's the other. She just, we didn't expect it to be something that she's into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also read it like, I mean, she was like a child, right? Which is very impressionable, right? It's a lot easier to manipulate. Like, not manipulate, but stuff that happens to you as a child can impact you in your formation. And it seemed to me like the approval she got when she was doing the burning, right? That also made, like, she started associating with, oh, it's a good thing, right? What I'm doing, right? And everyone was always telling her, how it was a good thing to burn these heretics and everything else. So it's probably started associating it.
Yeah.
From an early age, I guess.
Do we have reason to believe that she didn't get said approval from parents, not for this, but just generally that she was having an unhappy childhood otherwise?
I don't remember. Do we... Because I don't think it was in this chapter. I think it was in the previous chapter. There was like a small part about her in her room watching the square outside, but I don't remember what it said.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I guess getting approval even regardless of what else is going on, it makes sense that would be formative.
We've got another.
Yeah, but she's a bit fucked up.
We've got another good guy with Serpico.
With what? Sorry.
The guy Serpico, the one of the knights. The handsome dude with the black hair and the thick eyebrows is like, no, I don't like torturing kids either, and I'm going to sleep with a prostitute, but I'm going to promise to make her my mistress after the war's over. And he likes, what's his name, the other dude. It's like, you're pretty cool. You can always tell who the good guys are. He doesn't like what they're doing.
Yeah, Serpico seems like he's a normal guy, as in, like what most people would be. He's not bad. He's trying to be good, but he also does bad things because it's the easier way. He's not going to oppose the system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is another one for Steve to wrestle over. Another decent person. Is that 2 in 1 volume? Is it too many? I don't know.
It's too many. What's going on here? I was told.
But I don't know if I would call him good. I would just call him normal for our standards.
In this world, he's pretty normal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the sort of normal, like, when there's like people talking about World War II or like the Holocaust or survivor stuff, like it's the normal people which enable the bad people in power from doing what they want to do, sort of, right? Which again, it's like most people, that's what most people are, because most people are not strong enough to, do big feats on their own, right? But yeah, that's how I read it. Because I mean, he's not doing anything. He was not the guy that went to the child to stop him being lynched or whatever, right? He was just standing there looking at it. I mean, he didn't like it, but he didn't say anything, right? So I don't know. And then then there's the other guy, the fancy looking guy. I don't know what to call him. I don't remember his name. But yeah, like, is he a good guy?
He's a better guy, right? Like, what's your name? Ordered him to kill Guts, and he probably didn't think he could do it, but he also said, like, you really shouldn't. You're being a little weird. He didn't say that.
But he's also helping the commander, right? Like, actively helping, which we know is kind of a bad person.
Well, she seems surrounded by soldiers who are doing it out of a sense of duty and responsibility, who don't really relish it. And it's contrasted with her, like, because her, like, general, the guy with the handsome mustache, he doesn't seem to want to be torturing anybody. He takes whatever liberties he can to do less cruelty when he can, but he'll follow orders. Contrasted with like her and like the leader of the torturer dude, the smooth face guy, who are not, not erring on the side of decency, and that's the tension there. Everyone's participating, but I guess the ones who aren't participating are on a wheel already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or starving outside.
I didn't even think of this until you mentioned wheels. The wheels that Guts and is it Isidro that they fight? Are those the wheels that people have been killed on? Okay, I just put that together now because I'm a dunce. Okay, I got it.
So they've died and come back as demons? Is that what happened?
Well, the demons inhabit their corpses. I'm not entirely clear on which it is.
Oh, yeah.
Because the demons can go into things, like bodies, like dogs and horses. We've seen that. I don't know if the demons are entering these corpses and animating them, or if the dead people are coming back as demons. I can't tell. I don't know if it's important.
But I mean, maybe dead people become demons. Minor demons.
We see my favorite dude, Skeletor.
Yeah, he makes a return.
Yeah.
Lots of cryptic shit. He's, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Did it? Okay, so I kind of got lost in that whole thing. Or is it just me? There's some of it was...
They're having a big festival, which is like the eclipse, but it's a chance for one of the God Hand to come back to life. And be...
So they're just going to recreate the eclipse is kind of the gist of it, right?
Yeah, but that means one of the God Hand can like walk around after that. And stay.
Oh, okay.
Be instantiated. Yeah. And then they can walk around like everybody else. So that sounds like a good thing.
They said reincarnated, so I was wondering if they'd show up physically as humans, like fully formed adult humans, or will they be born?
Or a little evil baby. Walking around with little stubby fingers.
Yeah. I guess that's one thing I don't understand about like the skeleton guy. Why can't he talk normally? Why does he have to speak in riddles? Like, he could just tell him, oh, this is what's going on.
It's not like giving prophecies or anything. He's just stating something as if everybody's supposed to understand.
Yeah. I don't get it, like, in books or movies or stuff like, and then there's the wise guy or someone saying cryptic shit to the hero so when you need to think about it, like, just tell him.
If you believe that you are part of this thread of causality, you might feel like just telling people things straight out isn't going to help. Because that's accounted for by destiny and causality already. That's what's sort of expected. It's only by doing the end around and being mysterious that you can add a little element of instability to the unfolding of this destined series of events. Or not. Maybe he just has a speech impediment. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, but I think that's only if you know where the causality is going, right? And then you know that all things are tending towards a specific direction, then I guess also your speech might have been... But I mean, why then can't causality also predict or whatever, or modify your cryptic speech? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's the whole problem with, like, when you have, like, predestination and, like, oh, so is what I say already decided, so... Does it matter if I change what I say? Because it's already decided that I change what I say, right?
And he's an elf, we think? Or elf-like?
I was about to mention that. It came from a little bit out of the blue. Like, he reminds me of an elf. Like, why? Like, where do they come from?
Is it the bony head? Like, what? Is it the size?
Maybe he was an elf before dying,
don't we? That was described in that earlier novel, like the earlier volume.
Yeah.
The king of that nation, the city that was buried under the other thing. I don't remember him being beef.
But maybe he was an elf. Who knows? It was a long time ago. Could have been. Or maybe he stole the elf's magic or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I could see either, absolutely.
Yeah. And I guess about Puck, have you guys noticed how he's sort of changing? Like, if you compare him now to the first volume, he looks completely different.
Does.
Like his face is very different.
Yep.
He looks more, I don't know, more modern, I guess. Modern manga drawing, yeah.
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 More softer,
He
softer
didn't
maybe?
have such big eyes in the first volume.
Big eyes, yeah.
And his hair also looks different.
Yeah, I guess because this is... Are we getting into towards the 2000s here? Or... Let me see. When did Volume 18 come out? Next. That's more of a 2000s thing, sort of. It's starting, like, eyes getting bigger, I guess. Like that and that shape. But I don't know. Maybe it's still a bit earlier. Let's see.
As long as the moon exists in the night sky, moonlight will remain on the wall.
It must be.
So this is Volume 18, right?
Oh,
yeah,
close.
1999.
Okay.
So yeah, we're getting into the 2000s, which is where you see that usual shift in style to more modern style. Yeah. Anyways, just something I was noticing in this chapter too, especially because this chapter has less of a chibi form of plot and more of a realistic form, which was good, I think. Because I guess this was a more serious chapter.
And Puck was less
Yeah.
comic
Probably.
relief here because they're shifting some of that to the kid, Isidro or whatever.
Whom Puck calls Sneaky.
Yeah. Sneaky Doro. Yeah, I don't know. He's a bit annoying for now, but yeah, like you said, we'll see.
Fingers
We'll
are crossed
see.
he goes away soon. Not that he dies, just that he goes away. Like, just finds a nice family to live with and away from the eclipse and all the orgies and lives happily ever after.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a place for a kid to
Yeah.
go. Wherever Gus is going. But yeah. But I guess now we do have some hints as to what's happening, right?
That.
Which I guess is gonna happen in the next volumes, yeah.
So one of the God Hand is going to be reborn. So like 2 years, it's probably going to be Griffith. Like why would we be interested in any of the others?
Hilarious. One is reborn, it's Brain on the outside guy, and the one's like, yeah, whatever. We don't care. They go about their business. Let's wait 1,000 more years.
Griffith as the God Hand is so interesting to the threads of causality that first he gets a giant eclipse and now he gets a rebirth and reincarnation. And what is special about him, or is it just to move the story along?
You read the secret chapter. He's the culmination of thousands of years of the will of the dark side of humanity. They brought him about just to exercise their will. So you got to give him every opportunity to go out and do that.
Yeah. But now I think he has, like, I think at the end of a chapter he says, okay, do what you will with this power, pretty much. It's like, okay, now you have the power, shape the universe or humanity the way you want, or the way humanity wants to be shaped.
He came about from the subconscious, the Jungian subconscious of humanity. So he is the will of the people.
Yeah, so what does Griffith want to do now?
Maybe.
That's the question.
Unless Guts stops it and this all ends in volume 21.
Well, we know it doesn't end, so.
That's the problem, right? Like, there's this festival coming, and it's like, well, we know.
It's called Festival. That's such a weird name for it. I wonder if it's a bad translation or Festival.
No, it sounds perfect. All the parties they're having, it's going to be a grand festival. Where they'll throw colored powder at each other. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it makes sense, because in my mind, I just imagine it as, festival, you think is something like colorful, joyous abandonment and dancing and stuff like that. And it's like, but then it's bad. So I think it's a nice, I don't know what that rhetorical figure is called when you say one thing and it means the other thing, so you have like contrast within the same word. But anyways, I think it's I do like it, but I don't know what it's originally supposed to be. Because I don't know if festivals in Japan are the same. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more like a carnival. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
More than a Japanese
That
festival.
makes sense.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, the very
Oh no.
comical. Yeah.
You can't let it go. I'm gonna be there.
You need something. Yeah.
Like Steve said, I completely gave up on trying to understand what the skeletal dude is saying. I had no idea. I lost him after he started talking about moonlight, and like apparently he doesn't know that clouds are a thing, and
The suns are the second sun.
and there's a light from a distant dying sun.
This whole multiple layers of reality, right? The God hand isn't physically real. Like they're not in a place. Like you can't go to a cave and like, oh, that's where these guys are hanging out. They only cross over from the realm of ideas to the physical realm on special occasions, like festivals and eclipses. Right? That's when they can come here and manifest, and maybe at this festival one can manifest in such a strong way that they can stick around. So that's what all this is talking about, right? So like, you see the God hand, you can like swing a sword at them, but you're swinging a sword at the moon by striking at the water. Like, you can disrupt the water, but you're not going to like affect the moon. So I think that's the impression we're getting. They're like, what we see of them is just this, the embodiment of these ideas, and you can like get mad at the embodiment all you want. The ideas don't go away.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
That makes sense.
The
Now I understand.
The language he's using is all very much like Platonic forms, and I use it because I stole it from Plato, and this notion of there's this real stuff, and then all we're seeing are its reflections or the shadows cast by it or something. So it fits right in with that sort of imagery. But yeah, festival, right? Chance for ideas to manifest on our world. That's phenomenal. It's great stuff.
Yeah.
Sounds like a party.
With a lot of foreshadowing about the hawk coming back. Oh, what did you all think of the demon baby protecting Casca? We didn't talk about that already, right? Yeah.
I like that it's very explicit here. I think we saw it in the last volume once, but it wasn't clear that it was a regular ongoing thing. But now we've seen it like 3 times, or at least twice. So like we're like, okay, so babies, protecting mom. That's nice, sweet.
It also has to be really powerful, right? Because we see how much Guts struggles every night, but the baby.
It's made from God hand sperm. It's got to be powerful. And it's Guts is its daddy, so. It's got one eye, just like Dad.
Oh, that's true.
It's just like you, Guts.
He has your eyes.
Yeah. I guess I wonder if he knows something.
The baby?
We don't know.
There's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. If he has a plan.
The baby's the true hero of the story.
I don't know.
I'm not serious.
Maybe. I mean, maybe. We don't know
if the ending. The baby's a little bit of like a deus ex machina. Like, it'll just do whatever is needed.
Yeah.
To move the story along. It can disappear and reappear wherever it wants. It can fight off all the demons at no cost to itself, unlike Guts, who's like covered in blood in the morning. Baby's fine. But without it, Guts will be toast.
The other demons don't get together and decide to get rid of it before the next night of attack.
They probably think it's holy.
Oh.
Right? They probably don't want to get rid of it. It may destroy them and say, get off my mom, but to them, it's a reflection of their God. Or one of his fingers.
True.
Maybe.
Do you think the god that the god hand serves and the god that the Inquisitors and his army serves are the same.
I mean, the God Hand serves, I guess, humanity in a sense. Serves the dark impulses of humanity.
So yes,
right.
Because I'm sure we don't have any reason to think that the God of this church is real in that it can like take a form and like throw lightning bolts at people. We've seen no evidence of that, right? As far as we know, it's a creation of the imagination of the people, or of some of the people, and they follow it. But we don't have any reason to think it's real. Like you could go visit him and have a conversation. So in a way, it's just like the God Hand.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we haven't had any real theology on the God that these people follow, right? We don't know. It's sort of implied that maybe it's like the Christian God because it over parallels with medieval Europe, but we haven't had an actual.
We've had the theology, but we haven't had any metaphysics, right? Like we hear about the precepts of this religion from this dude, right? About the faith and what God wants from them, and
but it's very generic. How do I say?
It's very generic. You don't have any. Yeah, we don't have specifics.
Yeah, we don't even know what's considered good in this religion or bad or right. It's
blind, real.
I guess.
Do we have some notion of that from the commandments that guy keeps spouting?
Well, yeah, or we don't know if we have to always be open to the possibility that he's misinterpreting the scriptures for his own purposes. So we don't really know. I'm going to agree with that. We don't really know.
Yeah, if there are scriptures, we don't know if there even are scriptures. Who knows? Technically, it could be. I wonder actually what it is. I'm trying to remember if we actually get information later on, but I don't remember if we do.
No, I don't either.
So, yeah, because I mean, if we were to assume that it's the same as the Christian God, it's very how do I say? You would need that religion is very rooted in the history of our world. It's in the context of our world. It's not as generic as if you would take take a Sumerian god or Babylonian god from that period. It's just a strong demon, right? And that's very easy to put into whatever universe, right? If you take more complicated religions from our world, you need some more context, I guess, to justify it or to explain it or something like that. So I don't know. I wonder what they think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we know much up to now. Yeah, we know the warped version of the Inquisitor.
Yeah.
For which I guess faith is the main part, and just have faith, and doesn't matter if you're tortured or whatever.
And heresy is a problem.
Yeah.
But what is heresy though? It doesn't seem to be disbelief or lack of faith. It's sinning is also considered heresy. Is heresy a different crime than what they are torturing people for in those chambers?
The one thing we always see specifically a heresy is withholding tithes and funds from the church.
Yes, right.
Yeah. I assume also those satanic goat worshipping people are. I guess based on the context, I'm assuming that's this satanic thing is fairly widespread. It's not just a one thing because we've seen it twice, and we've seen the guy before going on crusades against these people, these heretics. So I assume there's an undercurrent of this sort of demon worshipping, which is not really a demon. It's because they're not worshipping real demons; they're worshipping false demons.
Right.
Right. So I assume it's a widespread phenomenon, and assume these are the heretics. But this guy maybe is just assuming any opposition to authority is heresy.
And probably magical stuff.
So
engaging in any kind of magical stuff, because it's very clear that people who are really into this religion don't see even elves. Right? They don't see the mystical things that are around. They don't see the demons. So consorting with demons and elves and witches is probably fundamentally heresy,
Mm.
or it's antithetical to this religion.
Yeah.
And speaking of the orgy people, it looks like Casca's their new leader, maybe?
Mascot?
Because,
Mm.
yeah, they all bow, and when they called her a witch, I thought, oh, she's in trouble, and then they're all bowing, so.
Yeah.
I guess that's what she's gonna get burnt at the stake for later on.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well, because I guess she's the only one that actually conjured real demons for them to worship, probably, instead of having to take
So you
drugs
think Goat Guy wasn't
to
real?
simulate that. I think it was the drugs, but
No,
I don't know.
I'm going back and forth. I first thought he was real, then I thought he wasn't. I'm going back and forth. I think you're
'Cause
probably
he-
right.
I
I think
think-
he probably wasn't real.
Because I know the guy actually at one point says that this is real, this isn't an illusion, right?
But he can't mean all of it, right? His hand wasn't really like dissolving in the girl's like chest. So clearly there were hallucinations in there. Just not all of it was an hallucination. But I think he's specifically talking about the human meat in the stew
Oh, okay.
when he says this is
Yeah.
not. So he might not mean Goat Guy.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, I see.
I mean, or Goat Guy could just be like a hallucinated guy in a mask. On drugs, he looked like Goat Guy. But
Mhm.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean-
we'll see maybe.
If he's
Maybe
real
we'll get
and he's
some
like
more
an apostle or
explanations
something, we're going to
in
have
the
to
next-
fight him
Mhm.
sooner or later.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, his behavior is very apostle-like, I guess. Minor apostle-like, not major. So,
Mm.
could very well
See.
be. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know if you guys had anything else to talk about, but I need to skedaddle.
Okay, yeah, we can
very
wrap
soon.
up. So we'll do, yeah, it was a good one. So, Joe, where can people find you?
jcmburn.com. I have 3 books of the Hybrid Helix are out. 4th one is coming out on September 12th.
Ooh, exciting.
Whether
Nice.
ready or not, ARCs are available.
Very nice. And Varsha.
You can find me on my YouTube channel, Reading by the Rainy Mountain. The About page has more ways to reach out to me, and I also hang out on the Patreon forum a lot.
Nice. And Dan.
Patreon forum, the Empire 17. I may respond if I have time from real life stuff.
Okay.
Very busy now.
Cool. Well, thanks, everybody, and we'll see everyone next time. Well, you'll hear us next time. Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.